Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Chris Vermeulen from thetechnicaltraders.com and the book Asset Revesting. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Seth. Pleasure to be on the show.
Awesome. It is a pleasure to have you here. Let's go back in time just a little bit. How did you get into the business in the first place?
Oh, really long story short. I took a stock market challenge in high school. Our finance class competed against other schools, and we made a ton of money in a semester. And that was really us randomly picking symbols out of the back of a newspaper when they were there. And I was like, you know what? If I can make $180,000 a semester from a newspaper, that's what I want to do. So that was what got my teeth hooked into it. And I started trading, opened my first brokerage account in college, made a fortune on Palm Pilot with my small account during the tech bubble. I lost it all during the tech burst and learned what needed to be done, figured it out 25 plus years later. It's got to wrangled into a sweet spot.
I am sure there were some ups and downs along the road. What is the Technical Traders and how did that come about?
Yeah. So long story short, when I first started trading, I was trading more or less around companies that have growing earnings, good low PE ratios, or they're growing quarter after quarter. And so that was what I focused on. And it works in a bull market. But when the stock market goes down, it doesn't matter if you're buying stocks that are actually growing quarter after quarter, the stock price still goes down. And that's how I lost my shirt back during the tech bubble. And so I came across technical analysis, which I didn't know what it was at the time. John Murphy wrote a big Bible on it. And that's what really got me into it. I read it. It's all about following price actions, trends among different asset classes, because money is always flowing. If one asset's going down, that's because people are selling it and they're shifting that asset. They're investing it into a different asset. So I learned about all the different relationships, how to read chart patterns, different time frames, cycle analysis, sentiment. And that's what I am now. The Technical Traders, we run purely on technical analysis. We look at the charts, we look at the data, and we're able to identify what direction something is going, and then how strong is it? And if it's going in the direction we want, and it has a strong enough trend behind the scenes, a lot of things showing us that there's big money flows, that's when we hop on and we invest into that asset class and ride that wave through the market.
Awesome. And then you're not just doing that obviously for yourself anymore. Who is an ideal client for Technical Traders? How are you helping folks?
Yeah, I run everything because I use it to manage my own money. So I do all this with my own, but I share it with others, and pretty much anybody who's accumulated wealth and they want to protect it and grow it. Generally 45 age or higher or retired, because what I focus on is protecting capital. That's our number one goal. And if we don't ride the markets down, we don't hold assets that are falling, we don't really have any losses. And so the gains naturally keep stacking up. And so the strategy that I use, I call it CGS, the consistent growth strategy. And it's because we only hold an asset class that is moving up. And so people who have more or less had 50 or 100K or more up into the millions benefit from this because it's a very low volatility. The buy and hold is about a 40% drawdown on your account if you were to hold it through a bear market. We've got less than 6%, and we can profit from rising and falling markets, which is what really stands apart, because there's a few different types of investing. You got the buy and hold, which is do nothing, ride the roller coaster. Typically, a buy and hold investor is not able to retire 20, 30, 40 years younger. And then you got the active trader, which is proven that is super difficult, and most people lose over time. And so asset revesting is right in the middle. We do just enough position management and rotate our capital from one asset class to another each year just to catch the big waves that are rolling through the market and step aside when there isn't a clear signal.
Awesome. And then How does your program work? So is it a subscription? Are you telling them what to trade, when to trade it? What type of asset classes are we talking about? Give us some details.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the strategy is based around an asset hierarchy, I call it. So we've got key assets. At the top of the hierarchy are the most volatile assets, which to me are the US indexes, the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. And so to me, it doesn't matter if you own 150 different stocks and a whole bunch of sector ETFs. People are always like, oh, I'm diversified. To me, I see it the opposite way. I say you're actually not diversified because all of those are the exact same asset. They're a stock, an equity. The equities market, I like to look at as the stock market tide. When the tide goes up, it lifts all boats. When it goes down, they all go down. And if the tide is going down or we're in a bear market, I don't believe we should hold equities. I think we should move to an asset that is going up, which could be bonds. It could be the US dollar index. It might actually be an interest bearing position. So the equities market is where we naturally always want to be when it's favorable because it can produce the best returns. But then we move down to the next slower moving asset, which are the bond market. We could move into bonds or we could move into the US dollar index. I only focus on ETFs. We only ever have one position open, one ETF at a time, which makes it very straightforward because we're just investing in the only asset that is moving up and that fits our criteria. So we don't hold a basket of different things for this strategy. We just move into whichever one is going. And so that's our focus. We focus on ETFs and we just rotate into whichever asset class meets the risk criteria at any given time that is trending up. And that's how we deploy our capital.
And how long has the Technical Traders been a publicly available platform?
I've been running the newsletter since I have multiple different newsletters, but running them since 2001. So I actually started in college, which is crazy, with my roommate. Back then, obviously, it was more so just a forum kind of to communicate, but I've been doing the actual newsletters for forever. And I've got people from about 80 different countries that follow our strategies. They're registered advisors, they're individual traders, they're investment groups, buying clubs, all these different individual types of people who want to take advantage of the market. But yeah, we've been doing this for a very long time. And I've just found a way that is very easy for people to follow. We use end of day signals, meaning we get a trigger, say today after the close. I send out an alert. It's something you put on tomorrow at the opening bell. I give you the entry, the exit, our targets, position allocation. Super simple. I've designed it so anyone can really follow it, whether you know anything about trading or not.
And am I allowed to ask how many subscribers you've got total across the platform?
We've got several thousand subscribers. So it's lots of different subscribers.
Awesome. And then from what I can see, you've achieved some incredible track records in terms of risk adjusted returns. What has the feedback been from the subscribers who actually implement what you're teaching them to do?
Yeah, it's a pretty big wake up call. A lot of people think it's like watching paint dry because we only have 5 to 12 trades a year. And a lot of people want to be active traders who are in the newsletter space of subscribing to a newsletter. You just pay an annual fee, a flat fee. You have access to the trades. And of course, I also have auto trading. So it can just be automatically executed in your brokerage account for you. And those are the people that are really blown away because they're like, I was scared to log into my account. Say, for example, the stock market's been going down for a week or two. They're like, I didn't want to log in. I don't want to know. And then they log in and they send the messages. They're like, I cannot believe my account is going up and I'm at new all-time highs when the stock market has just been falling for 2 weeks. So it's a pretty earth-shattering move when people realize, hey, if you just ditch the asset that's falling, we'll buy it back later when it's better and move into something else that's going to keep going up. It is a real eye-opener, and people realize you don't need to trade a lot to make money. In fact, the more you trade, the more you lose. It's been proven with all kinds of different studies. So the key is just to find the sweet spots. I like to think of it, because I'm a surfer, as we're out past the break, floating out there, waiting in the ocean, and we're waiting for a set of waves to roll through. And there's 5 to 12 of those waves that roll through the stock market every year. And the nice thing about waiting for those is you can see the ones that have strength. You pick the asset class that fits your criteria that you're comfortable with. We hop on, we ride that trend. And then the nice thing about a strong wave is we also know when it's about to break or when it's weakening. So we can start trimming profits, moving stops up and exit that play and then float and wait for the next beautiful kind of set to roll through.
Awesome. What inspired you to write with the book?
Really, I think we're going to be going into a very difficult time in the stock market. I think most people have got the record wealth they've ever had. Huge amount of people retired or about to retire. And I think we're going to go through a very big market correction. And it's really the only way to try to get this idea, this other way, this alternative way to investing out to people to say, listen, there's a way to protect your capital and a way to actually grow and benefit from an economic reset across all kinds of different assets, including real estate and things like that. So I really just want to get it out, share it. It's my passion. I've been doing this particular strategy since 2001. It keeps evolving over time, but I really just want to try and help as many people and realize, hey, you don't have to do the buy and hold and do nothing, and you don't have to be an active trader, which is a pretty painful, frustrating venture for most.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable. For our folks watching or listening, where is the best place for them to go to get the book and to learn more about you and the technical traders?
Sure. Yeah. They can go to Amazon or Chapters, anywhere to get the book. And my website is thetechnicaltraders.com. And there I go over the charts every day for subscribers if they want to be active and follow along and copy the trades that I do.
Awesome. All right. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Seth. Pleasure.
This has been Seth Greene for the RIA podcast. Thank you all for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.